Now let's turn to South Korea. Judges at the impeachment trial of the suspended President Yoon Yeol are set to hand down a verdict in the next few days. He faces allegations of attempting to orchestrate a rebellion when he briefly imposed martial law in December. Police arrested Yoon in January after a week-long standoff. The president's lawyers have called for the charges to be dropped. Well, let's speak to Nemo Kim, a journalist based in Seoul, who, Nemo, you've been following this story very closely. Just bring us up to date, bring us your expectations of what we can expect, given the drama that we saw earlier on when all of this was unraveling in South Korea.
The South Korean Constitutional Court, they concluded hearings in his impeachment trial last week, and they expected to deliver the verdict sometime in the next few days. And during the final hearing last week, parliamentary lawyers, as you said, accused him of attempting to establish a dictatorship. Whereas on his side, President Yoon, he defended his actions as being necessary to protect the country from what he called pro-Chinese and pro-North Korean forces. And President Yoon is a former prosecutor general himself. Himself and his legal team, they revealed pretty shocking details from legal cases of Chinese and pro-North Korean spies being caught, incidents that were at the time largely ignored by South Korean media. And he specifically criticized the liberal opposition party for blocking amendments to this country's spy law, which currently excludes non-North Koreans. And that makes it challenging to prosecute Chinese spies or spies of other nationalities. And President Yoon's team also raised concerns about alleged election fraud and accused the liberal opposition of obstructing a thorough probe into the National Election Commission. Recently, that commission was found to have engaged in over 800 cases of illegal hiring, basically hiring members of employees, families, and so on. And that's further fueling suspicions of misconduct in the country's election system. And many South Koreans who were unaware of these situations due to relative lack of reporting were stunned by these revelations on the last day. Geopolitically, South Korea not only has North Korea to deal with, but we are in very close proximity to China and Russia. And one thing to note here is that fundamentally, the South Korean law allows its president to declare martial law in the case of an acute national emergency. And if the Constitutional Court upholds, the court basically has to determine whether Mr. Yoon's actions constitute a legitimate response. If the court upholds the impeachment, he will be permanently removed from office, and that would trigger a presidential election within 60 days.